I'm Hales, for those of you who don't know me. I am a wellness coach, and I help women who suffer from eating disorders and other forms of self-sabotaging such as addiction, depression, anxiety, body dysmorphia. Today I wanted to hop on here and talk to you about how we are our greatest self-sabotagers. Before we begin, I just want to take a few breaths together. So we're going to take a deep inhale through your nose. Close your eyes. Exhale through your mouth. Take an inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Once more, keep your eyes closed. Take a deep inhale. Exhale through your mouth. Keep your eyes closed. I want you to envision a life where you are just completely content with your body and your relationship with food and the relationships in your life and your relationship with yourself. What would that be like? Take yourself back to a space in your life where you felt that. You felt that contentment. When was the last time you felt that feeling of wholeness and completion? Now take a moment to forgive yourself from veering away from that place of balance, because everything we've been going through and experiencing in the meantime, while we're distant from that side and that connection to our alignment, is here to teach us something. When you're ready, take one more inhale. Exhale through your mouth and open your eyes. So I want to talk about how we are our greatest self-sabotager and how we live behind excuses. I do it all the time, or I used to more or less than now. But we are our greatest self-sabotager in the sense that we tend to live in our heads, and it becomes this place that is a torture chamber or a prison. You know that feeling when you're so stuck in your mind and it feels like a prison? And then we start to tell ourselves these things that aren't necessarily true, these lies, that we have to live a certain way, we have to look a certain way, we have to become something more than we are. And we feel like we set these high expectations for ourselves that we can't live up to, because these expectations are too hard for us to grasp, because we're living behind our desires. So it's like two ends of the spectrum. It's like we live behind our desires and we are striving for a life we can't necessarily go after or fulfill because it's not tangible and true to what we really want, because we don't really know ourselves. But then there's this end of the spectrum as well. And this end is the side of us that's completely holding us back from becoming all that we deserve to be, all that we are capable of, shining our light so bright because we tell ourselves we aren't good enough. We tell ourselves we can't achieve. So at some point, we have to find a happy medium down the middle of truly understanding who we are without sabotaging ourselves, to full-heartedly show up unapologetically every single day as the person you are. And then you can move forward in your truth without being mean to yourself, without hiding behind the comfort of food or the comfort and touch of another person or relation in your life. But how do we go about doing that? It takes full-on commitment to reprogramming the mind you've been conditioned with, and resetting, and relearning and unlearning all of which we know now, to step back to a place where we can fully show up and be open to rediscover. It's like going back to your inner child. I'm sure your inner child was full of lots of curiosity. Your inner child was full of expression for self, not to show up or show off or appear a certain way or obtain a certain image. The child inside of you was just curious, asking lots of questions, free to become all that felt right to become, to do whatever you wanted to do. At some point we lose sight, or we lose connection, or we lose reach of that side of ourselves. And it comes back to going to your intuition. And what does your intuition really want? And a lot of people come to me, Hales, I don't know what that means. What is intuition? Like, I don't have this intuition. But we do have this internal voice. You know when you're going to do something, but that sabotager inside of you, say you want to apply for a job, but that sabotager inside of you is telling you, like, oh, you're not good enough. You know, you're not qualified for that job. But there's still that part of you, that small part, that's like, I really want to go and apply for this job. That's your intuition telling you, like, this is a good idea. But then that intuition voice is overpowered by that self-sabotaging side of us that wants to hold us back and wants us to hide our truest, authentic self. And living in that form of fear is going to continue to have you feeling stuck and stagnant and not good in your body. So we need to live in our fullest expression of who we really are. We got to take that space and that time to get to know that person, living in that curious, like, state of mind. Some tips and tools I can help you with, or I can gift you to have you get out of that self-sabotaging mindset or those habits to move forward with your life in a place of balance and tranquility and peace and harmony with yourself. I'm going to give you a few tips. So my first tip, number 1, spend time with yourself every day, disconnected from the world. Maybe it's out in nature. Let me show you. This is where I spend mine. Oh, I can't flip it. Maybe it's out in nature. So I go out there some days and I just sit and I write and I allow myself to feel. Maybe for you, writing isn't it. Maybe for you, you need to go for a walk, or you need to go play basketball, or you need to go rollerblading or longboarding, surfing, or maybe you just need to sit still and move your body, flow, and do yoga, or maybe you need to be preparing a meal in complete silence. Whatever it is, you can fit that time and spend 30 minutes a day with yourself, completely tuned out from the world. And if you can do it first thing in the morning, beautiful, because that is you're less likely to be distracted by all these other things going on. But take 30 minutes a day to be in full expression, 1. 2, talk to yourself. Those moments when you feel that voice inside your head that's like, you can't do this, or you hear that voice inside your head telling you you're ugly, you're fat, talk back to it. Let it say its piece, but then talk back, like, why? Why am I ugly? What is it about me that doesn't have a beautiful body? What is it about me that isn't capable or qualified to be in my authentic self, to be in my power, to be in my alignment? Talk back. Ask questions to yourself. Seek answers. Because that voice, that negative, toxic voice inside our head will continue to imprison you until you figure out that key, that message to break you free. So rather than suppressing yourself, let it have its side, let it have its peace, let it have its voice. Stand up to it. Be in your authentic power. My next tip is really truly surround yourself with people who are nurturing. And this is hard because sometimes we're in a relationship that at the end of the day isn't healthy, but yet we're attached to it. We know it's not going to go anywhere, but we're attached to it. We try and force upon these relationships with people in our lives, like our family members, but we know it's not healthy. And we don't have the strength in us to set up the boundaries we need to keep ourselves safe, to keep ourselves happy and in alignment and in wholeness. So the best thing you can do is to set boundaries with people, to be real with yourself. Is this person nurturing for me? Or am I just forcing upon a relationship because they play this specific role in my life? Think about it. Set that boundary. Because it's going to be really important for you to do if you want to live in your alignment, in your power, and to stop making excuses that sabotage you. Because the people we are closest to, they influence us the most. So recognize when you're doing something, is this really a decision I would make, or is this a decision this person, A person or B person would make? Or is this the decision that Haley would make? These are questions we have to be asking ourselves to bring us back into our alignment, into our fullness. My tip number 4, if you have a habit of suppressing your feelings or suppressing or doing things to avoid feeling the way you actually feel, such as binge eating, such as excessively working out, such as keeping people in your space, hanging out with people all the time, hiding yourself in isolation, continuously just being on social media all the time, preaching about things that aren't true to you, or stalking people and then you're jealous of them and then making you feel a certain way. If you're doing anything along the lines of any of these, get real with yourself. It's so much more refreshing when we own up that we have a problem and we seek help. And seeking help, it doesn't mean that it's such an ego booster. It makes our ego feel bad, or makes us feel like we're not strong enough to do it on our own. But sometimes you can't do things on your own, and it's okay to ask for help. The side of you that doesn't want to ask for help, that's your self-sabotaging side. That's the side of you that wants to continue with these unhealthy habits and hide behind them because nobody knows about them. Nobody probably knows about our unhealthy habits. And so it makes it okay. But it's not okay when we know we're living in that prison in our minds. So I suggest you to take these tools, take these tips, utilize them into your life, overcome your own habit of self-sabotaging yourself, and let's step up. It's time for you to rise. And if you're craving that wholeness, you're the only one that can seek it within yourself. I promise you. So yes, I love you, and we'll talk soon.